Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are new then like, share and subscribe my channel. Most men don't lose relationships because they are weak or incapable. They lose them because they are taught the rules after the damage is already done. No one explains these realities early enough. They are discovered only after pain, confusion and emotional loss. Breakups that arrive without warning. Conversations that never bring clarity. Effort that goes unnoticed or unappreciated. And the sentence that leaves the deepest mark. You're a great man, but you're not the right one. Moments like these make men question themselves. They wonder what changed, what they missed, and where they went wrong. In most cases, the problem was never a lack of effort or intention. It was a lack of understanding. This video is not about blaming women or creating resentment. It's about awareness. It's about understanding female psychology so men can protect their emotional time, their energy, and their future. When you understand how attraction, boundaries, and emotional dynamics actually work, confusion turns into clarity. Today, we'll explore 7 psychological lessons most men learn far too late in life. Lessons that could prevent years of overinvesting, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. Lessons that help men make wiser choices, maintain self-respect, and build healthier relationships moving forward. Many men grow up believing that attraction functions like a reward system. They assume that if they remain loyal, patient, understanding, and supportive for long enough, desire will naturally increase over time. From this perspective, effort feels logical. The more you give, the more valuable you should become. Psychologically, however, attraction does not operate this way. Attraction responds far more strongly to self-respect, clear standards, and emotional balance than to excessive effort. When a man tries too hard to be chosen, he unintentionally communicates that his value depends on external approval, rather than inner confidence. This subtle signal creates imbalance in the dynamic. Emotional imbalance slowly weakens attraction. One person begins to overinvest, while the other unconsciously pulls back, not out of cruelty, but because desire needs balance to exist. Attraction grows when a man chooses from a position of self-worth, not when he chases from fear of loss. Interest is strengthened when effort is paired with boundaries and restraint. Desire thrives in situations where attention is offered freely, not given as a transaction. In the end, attraction is not something that can be earned through persistence alone. It develops naturally when confidence, standards, and self-respect remain intact. When emotional energy shifts in a relationship, many men instinctively believe that talking more will fix the situation. They think that by explaining their feelings, asking detailed questions, or seeking reassurance, they can restore connection and interest. From their perspective, communication seems like the solution to every misunderstanding or gap in attraction. However, psychology tells a different story. Communication alone does not generate attraction. It simply exposes whether attraction already exists. If interest is already strong, talking and sharing feelings flows naturally. But if interest is low, excessive talking can have the opposite effect. When a man speaks too much in this context, it can signal uncertainty, insecurity, or neediness. Over-explaining unintentionally communicates that his confidence is fragile and that his value depends on approval. This dynamic often pushes attraction further away rather than restoring it. Instead, silence, calmness, and emotional control send a stronger, more attractive signal. Maintaining composure, choosing words carefully, and not over-explaining demonstrates inner strength and self-respect. Sometimes, saying less protects attraction far more effectively than trying to clarify, justify, or explain everything. Understanding this principle allows men to maintain presence, composure, and natural appeal, even when energy shifts occur. Not every argument in a relationship signals a real problem. Not every moment of tension means that something is broken, or needs to be fixed immediately. In many cases, these moments are emotional tests, and they often happen subconsciously rather than intentionally. These situations are not designed to judge a man's words or logic. They quietly measure how he responds to pressure, disagreement, and emotional uncertainty. They reveal whether he can remain centered when things feel uncomfortable, or whether he becomes reactive when the atmosphere changes. Men tend to fail these tests when they panic, raise their voice, or rush to explain themselves. Overreacting, defending every detail, or trying to force understanding usually weakens their position. It shifts the dynamic from confidence to insecurity. Men pass these tests by staying calm, grounded, and emotionally steady. They listen without becoming defensive. They respond instead of reacting. They remain present without losing control over their emotions. The test is never really about the topic being discussed. It's not about winning the argument or proving a point. It's about emotional composure. Strength is shown through calmness, not chaos. Love by itself does not automatically create respect in a relationship. While affection and care are important, they are not enough to maintain healthy dynamics over time. Respect is built and preserved through boundaries. When small moments of disrespect are ignored, they don't disappear, they quietly become normalized. What is tolerated once is often repeated, and repetition slowly turns tolerance into expectation. Over time, behavior that once felt unacceptable begins to feel routine. Healthy psychology depends on clear limits. Boundaries communicate self-respect and emotional stability. They show others how to treat you and what behavior you will or will not accept. Contrary to popular belief, boundaries do not create unnecessary conflict. They create clarity. Clear boundaries reduce confusion, prevent resentment, and protect emotional balance. When standards are expressed calmly and enforced early, respect has room to grow naturally. Waiting too long to speak up often leads to frustration, emotional distance, and unresolved tension. Respect thrives in environments where expectations are clear and consistent. It weakens when boundaries are delayed or avoided out of fear of discomfort. In the long run, addressing issues early with calm confidence strengthens relationships far more than silence ever could. Section 6. After commitment, many men unintentionally relax too much. Once the relationship feels secure, they stop leading in the same way they did before. They slowly abandon the routines, goals, and sense of direction that once defined them. Their focus shifts almost entirely toward the relationship. Psychologically, attraction depends on polarity. Polarity is created when two individuals maintain their own identity, direction, and energy. When one person's world begins to revolve completely around the other, that balance disappears. As a man's personal goals fade into the background, attraction often declines quietly, rather than dramatically. There is no single moment where things collapse. Instead, interest slowly weakens as purpose and direction are replaced by over-availability. Commitment should never require a man to shrink his life. A healthy relationship is meant to complement his purpose, not replace it. When a man continues to lead his life, protect his time, and pursue his goals, attraction has space to remain alive. True commitment adds stability and depth, but it should never come at the cost of self-direction. When purpose stays intact, both partners feel chosen rather than consumed. After commitment, many men unintentionally relax too much. Once the relationship feels secure, they stop leading in the same way they did before. They slowly abandon the routines, goals, and sense of direction that once defined them. Their focus shifts almost entirely toward the relationship. Psychologically, attraction depends on polarity. Polarity is created when two individuals maintain their own identity, direction, and energy. When one person's world begins to revolve completely around the other, that balance disappears. As a man's personal goals fade into the background, attraction often declines quietly, rather than dramatically. There is no single moment where things collapse. Instead, interest slowly weakens as purpose and direction are replaced by over-availability. Commitment should never require a man to shrink his life. A healthy relationship is meant to complement his purpose, not replace it. When a man continues to lead his life, protect his time, and pursue his goals, attraction has space to remain alive. True commitment adds stability and depth, but it should never come at the cost of self-direction. When purpose stays intact, both partners feel chosen rather than consumed. Emotional openness is not a weakness. The problem is emotional instability. There is a critical difference between healthy vulnerability and emotional dependence. True vulnerability comes from strength, self-control, and self-awareness. It is the ability to express emotions without losing direction or self-respect. When emotions are driven by fear of loss or the need for validation, balance disappears. That imbalance is often mistaken for depth, but psychologically it creates pressure rather than connection. Strength shows up as emotional steadiness, not emotional overflow. One of the strongest psychological positions a man can hold is the ability to walk away. Walking away is not punishment, control, or manipulation. It is a form of self-respect. It communicates that a man values his standards, boundaries, and emotional well-being. A man who tolerates everything slowly loses leverage in his own life. When nothing is off-limits, respect begins to erode. In contrast, a man who protects his standards protects his dignity. He shows that connection is a choice, not a necessity. Healthy relationships are built when both individuals feel chosen, not trapped. And that sense of choice begins with self-respect. Not all women are difficult, and not every challenge in a relationship means something is wrong. At the same time, not all relationships are healthy. Understanding this difference is essential. Care and effort are valuable, but they do not excuse disrespect. Love can be powerful, yet it does not justify emotional imbalance or repeated harm. A relationship should support growth, not slowly drain clarity, confidence, or self-respect. A man's responsibility is not to fix every situation or carry every emotional burden. His responsibility is to choose wisely, set standards, and protect his future. Not every connection deserves unlimited access to his time, energy, and emotional investment. When a man builds a strong, purposeful life, relationships become an addition rather than a necessity. Purpose creates direction. Direction creates stability. And stability naturally attracts the right people, those who respect boundaries and value balance. Healthy relationships form when two grounded individuals choose each other freely, not out of fear or pressure. Awareness changes pattern, and clarity prevents costly emotional mistakes. If this video helped you understand relationship psychology more clearly, like the video, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe for more awareness-based content focused on growth and emotional intelligence.